Cannabis sales. Recreational cannabis has been legal for a bit here in Minnesota, but they're running into some problems. So the law right now requires that cannabis products be tested for safety and correct concentration. But there's a problem, as I mentioned. While the state's hemp industry has a well-established and efficient testing pipeline, the adult use cannabis industry does not. Stephen Brown, the CEO of Nothing But Canna, joins me now. Okay, Stephen, we have a testing issue. We had labs in place for testing hemp, which you've been working with for years now. But now that you're moving into cannabis, you're seeing that there is a need for more of these testing labs.
Yes. So right now, if you walk into a lot of these dispensaries, the reason why they don't have products is because they're not being tested in time. So right now, there's a testing gap of about 3 months before products can actually be tested, and that's a huge issue. Typically in the hemp market, we can test a product within 7 days after it's being produced. So it's a much faster lead time. Right now what we're seeing is in Minnesota is that you have a lot of new producers coming on board. Some are producing edibles, and right now edibles that are derived from hemp are the same edibles that are derived from cannabis. It's the same plant, just a different legal definition. We just need a lot more of that cannabis plant to extract to then put into a product. But a 5 milligram THC gummy is the same thing as a 5 milligram marijuana THC gummy. There's no difference at all. And so if we really want to help these testing labs out right now, we should only test smokables. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to keep on having these issues. Unfortunately, Legends was shut down a few weeks ago by the OCM. I guess there were some paperwork errors, and we are now down to 2 labs, and that's creating a huge bottleneck.
Okay, I was reading that there's 4 labs left. Now there's only 2.
Yeah, my understanding, there's only 2 that are fully operational to test the way that the OCM has required.
2 labs for how many retail producers?
Oh, there's thousands. I mean, you have the hemp market here in Minnesota that want to work with local labs, and then you have roughly, let's say, 200 dispensaries that are coming on board, and you have manufacturers. So it's a major stopgap.
So dispensaries and manufacturers are popping up like crazy, but these labs are not. Why are there not more labs popping up? Is it regulatory barriers, or is it just there's no interest in it?
It's so expensive to open up a lab, and there's also a lot of legal loopholes that you have to go through to actually open up your lab. There's a lot of different certifications, and those take time. Sometimes they can take up to 1 year or 2 years to get certified.
So you're proposing that hemp growers should have to send their stuff out of state to be tested to free up some space. Why not just maybe drop some of the regulations or whatever to open up more labs? Has that been considered?
Yes, that has been considered, where the OCM is being a little bit more lenient with these labs, but they still have to follow the general statute. And so, their hands are kind of tied there. The other thing, too, is that marijuana producers are allowed to actually produce hemp products as well. And it would really behoove them to make sure that they're producing hemp edibles instead of marijuana-related edibles right now, because of the lead times that we're having in-state. Because you can't ship marijuana outside of the state of Minnesota. It's illegal.
So what does this mean for the consumer?
For the consumer, longer lead times on their flower. So now when you walk into a dispensary, you might only see 3 or 4 different options of flower or vapes, or no vapes at all, because it's still tied up in testing. And the other problem is that the Minnesota law does not allow you to have a expiration date past 6 months, and that creates another problem. So if you're getting tested at 3 months, you only have 3 months left on that product being on that shelf.
So does each individual product, like each individual vape pen, has to be tested?
So they do it by batch.
Okay.
So you do it by a certain batch number. So let's say you made 100,000 vapes, you would send in X amount of vapes for that batch, and then they would test that batch to make sure that it doesn't have any residual solvents, that the potency is correct, and that the label matches the COA.
Well, usually when demand is high and product is low, prices go up. Do you think that that could be an impact?
It's very expensive right now for the consumer to buy marijuana products. I mean, I'm seeing eighths for $60. You can go to Michigan and buy, an eighth for $15.
Wow.
So it's a big difference. So it's not that the companies are trying to gouge you. It's just that there's not enough supply out there yet.
So I think the hemp business owners would say, well, come on, Stephen, I don't want to, why are you pushing me to go out of state? Why do you think they should have to bear the burden of sending their stuff out of state?
Well, it only takes 7 days to be tested outside of the state, either through Badger Labs or ACS or some of these larger labs, and they're very quick, they're super efficient. I also think some of the marijuana operators that are handling hemp should also send it outside of state if that's legal for them to do so as well, just so that flower and vapes and other products can be tested efficiently and on time.
So you used to do just hemp. You were nothing but hemp before you were nothing
Yes.
but canna. Why then, if there's this backup and it's this hard, why not just stick to hemp? Why didn't you just stick to hemp?
Well, in November, there's a shutdown in the hemp industry nationally. We're not sure exactly what those laws are going to look like. And for us, this last session, it looks like that we are allowed to be on the hemp side and on the marijuana side. So in August, we are applying for that marijuana license. And we are planning on moving directly into the marijuana industry while still holding our hemp license. So we still plan on doing both, and hopefully there's some resolution in the hemp industry so we can still sell nationally, but we have 45 employees. I can't risk waiting till November to find out what they're planning on doing.
You're referencing the Farm Bill that's
Yes.
going to put some serious restrictions and has the threat of putting hemp businesses in Minnesota out of business.
Yeah, especially if you're a brewery or if you're on the beverage sector, alcohol sector, there's a good chance that if this fully goes through in November, that those businesses will fail. I mean, the liquor stores will still be open, but they won't be able to sell hemp-derived products any longer.
Do you think there's anything the state legislature could do to open up more testing labs?
Yeah, I think there's a lot they can do. They could be a little bit more lenient. They can move a little bit faster. Again, I'm not a regulator, so I don't know what they have to do in their daily tasks, but we really need these labs and we need them quick.
Because it seems like that would be a good solution too. Instead, you're saying, hey, let's handle it amongst ourselves. And hemp producers, you just go out of state so that us cannabis producers can stay in state, when it seems like that doesn't solve the overall problem.
No, it helps. It puts a Band-Aid on it
It puts a Band-Aid on it. So the long-term solution would be somehow getting more labs.
More labs, yeah. It's a great business opportunity.
Do you think the state of Minnesota was ill-prepared for opening up recreational marijuana?
I do. I actually lobbied against the marijuana bill, and it was because of a lot of the social equity language, a lot of the stringent rules that they had around marijuana, and it just seemed very cumbersome and very hard to operate in that space. I never wanted to be in this space because of how difficult it is to operate in this space, but now we're kind of forced to. We're for legalization, of course, but we're just not for the way this bill was drafted. It was poorly drafted. There was a lot of mistakes in it. I think this last session, they did a lot better job kind of fixing some of the holes, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Okay, interesting. Major supply chain brewing, you think?
Yeah.
Major supply chain issue brewing, I should say?
Yes, major one.
Okay. Stephen Brown, the CEO of Nothing But Canna, joining us now to talk about the shortage of labs for cannabis testing. All right, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We're going to be back after this break.